on the mighty 1630 KCJJ. Currently, it's 64.
And it is the noon hour on a Wednesday. That means it is time for Senior Talk, which is brought to you by the Solon American Legion. And here's your host, Rex Brandstatter.
Hi, good afternoon, everybody. This is Rex Brandstatter. Thank you, Tommy, for that introduction. And hello, my friends out at the Solon American Legion. My salute to you and you men and women out there, your auxiliary and your Legion members alike. Why, you're doing a great service for your community. My hat's off and the salute to you, that's for sure. Well, listen, the senior greetings from me, and welcome to Senior Talk, the weekly radio program where we try to identify and examine and share important and timely information for we and you fellow seniors. Thank you, of course, for tuning in and spending a few moments out of your busy day to see if we can't bring something to you that could help you, could help someone in your family, maybe your friends, maybe your coffee buddies or your ladies groups and things like that. That's what this is all designed to do, and I hopefully bring a lot of things to you that could be of some help. I'll do my very best to do that, as a matter of fact. So grab yourself a sandwich and a nice cold root beer, and let's see what we can cook up. And along the way, I'll do my best, to bring you a lot of fun recollections of past people, places, things, and events. And we seniors are pretty good at that, remembering things from way back when we were kids or things like that. That's what we do best. We might not remember where we ate supper last night or what we had for supper, but we remember who played in the World Series in 1957. Yankees and Braves, by the way. My name's Rex Brandstatter. I'm 74 years old, and I think that we seniors have a lot on our minds, and we're going to talk about that today. Now, I've been a licensed real estate broker here in the state of Iowa since 1974. Do some math on that, for God's sakes. Helping lots and lots of people over the years buy and sell homes, investment properties, commercial properties, lease places for their businesses, all things like that. Today, in today's world, and for the last 15 years, I work mostly with seniors. I work mostly with banks and trust departments of banks. I work with executors of estates, administrators of estates. If you don't know what to do and you're someone in your family's passed away and they need to sell a property, give me a call. I deal with this all the time. Happy to help, and my pleasure to work with you. So that's the scoop. I have a senior line for you to call at 319-330-5534. 330-5534. Give me a call. If I can take the call, I will. I don't take calls during the show, of course. But after that, I'll call you back. That is for sure. Finally some warm weather out there. I don't know if you've been outside yet or not. Hopefully you have. It's a beaut. We got it made. Now it's going to be a one-day stand, I think, because tomorrow's supposed to be a million-mile-an-hour winds and a little iffy. But we'll take what we can get. And I think they're saying over the weekend 70 to 80 degrees. So, folks, live it up, live it up, live it up. That's what we are going to do for that. So, well, chins up. We Iowa fans, our Hawkeye women owned college women's basketball all over the United States and beyond this year. Now, I saw a Facebook page yesterday where a friend of mine from here in Iowa City, from Coralville, he and his friend are down in Key West, Florida, and they stopped into a beer joint. Go figure. And while he was sitting there, I don't know, at the bar table or something, they looked and there was a commercial refrigerator type thing, and there were all kinds of magnets. And one of the magnets is in the middle of the door. It was looked like all the other magnets, except he got looking at it. It was black and gold with the outprint of the state of Iowa, and in the middle of it, it said "logo shot." So what do you think of that? That was all because maybe someone from Iowa was down there earlier this year and left them with that. Whatever the deal is, on the Key West, Florida, on that big commercial kitchen on the front door, a big imprint of the state of Iowa. In black and gold, and it says "logo shot." Well, we all know that came from Caitlin Clark and her accomplishments and shot. Trust me, folks, there'll never be anybody at Iowa again, women, to routinely and normally and successfully take shots from the logo. That's the last second shot with the 3, 2, 1 seconds left, not for her, just another day at the office taking a shot. So amazing, amazing, amazing. What a wonderful young player she is, and what a great team and coach we have, that for sure. Big deal at Carver Hawkeye tonight. Get over there. Parking is free, by the way, all around Carver. Parking is free, and you can get in and see them for the first time or maybe the last time. Who knows? If you think about that team and all the things they've done, now university will probably put together a big legacy of all the things that they've done, and it will come with a shock to us. We all know this, and we all did that, and they did this, and they did that. But when you see them all on a big line, and all the things that the team has done, and all the accomplishments of the team, and, of course, all the accomplishments of Caitlin Clark will really, really start to soak in here on what we had here, for sure. Now, case in point, this is never going to go away. We still talk about and remember Niall Kinnick and the 1939 Ironmen. We still talk about it. We still pay homage to them. And Niall Kinnick was the greatest Iowa football player to be recognized with the Heisman Trophy, the third Heisman Trophy, by the way. He was a third Heisman Trophy, the second man with Iowa background to win it. What, Rex? Well, the other one was Jay Berwanger, who from Dubuque and played for the University of Chicago in 1937. Go figure. All right. So that's the story there, friends. This women's basketball team, we'll be talking about them for, we'll never quit talking about them for sure. Now, I have some ideas. I'm going to express them here one of these days. I'll take some time to read them here. What I think the university could do, I didn't say should, could do. With this team and or Caitlin Clark and their accomplishments. They're going to be remodeling, I guess, Carver Arena. And I have some ideas. Let's just say the title of my thought is The House That Caitlin Rebuilt. So there you go. That's going to be the theory and the title of my, I'm going to send it to the university. This is The House That Caitlin Rebuilt. And I'm going to put out some specific terms and ideas for them. Of course, they'll flush it away for sure, but at least I'm making an attempt. So that's what I'm going to do for sure. Well, I want you to know that there are 3 stages of life. 3 stages. Number 1, we want stuff. When you're a kid or you're a teenager or you're a college kid, you want a ball glove, you want a bike, you want to go to Disneyland, you want all these type of things. You know, you want to do this, you want to do that. That's wanting stuff. That's the stage of wanting stuff. Then we have the acquiring stuff. And acquiring age, that probably starts when you're 14 or 15. You get yourself a paper route, maybe when you're younger than that. And you can buy your own bike. You can buy your own ball glove. You can buy your own little set of golf clubs. You can buy all those things. Your own clothes and hats, you know. That's the acquiring stuff. As you get older, you get a boat, and you get cars, and you get a house. That's the acquiring stage. Now, most of us, we seniors, are in the getting rid of stuff stage. Only a lot of us don't realize we're in the get rid of stuff stage. You just won't recognize it. You won't believe it. You won't pay any homage to it at all. But trust me, folks, we are in the getting rid of stuff stage. So I offer to you this. I was told the other day that the Coralville American Legion, by the way, the Coralville American Legion is going to have an indoor garage sale on the first Saturday in May. And you can start taking your garage sale things. All the money taken in, it stays with the Legion and goes to their community projects, such as buying flags for schools, outfitting, and for the color guard for veterans and military funerals, things like that. That's what that money's for. If you have things you'd like to get rid of that are, you know, somebody might buy, for God's sake, you can start taking them to the Coralville American Legion on Wednesday, May the 1st. May Day, for God's sake. You can start taking things over there, and you don't get anything for it. You know what you get for it? Number 1, you get the satisfaction of knowing you donated something. Number 2, you're not going to get a receipt. Number 3, you're not going to get any money, but let's refer back to number 1. You get the gratification that you donated something. And number 2, or 1B, you got rid of something. How's that sound? Yeah. You can start taking your items to the Coralville American Legion on Wednesday, May the 1st, and there'll be someone there, and they'll catalog it and all this kind of stuff. And then you have that big sale, which must be May the 4th, maybe all day. I don't know the hours on it. We can check with them once you're out there. So they really need some stuff, ladies and gentlemen, at the Coralville American Legion. Start taking it there on Wednesday, May the 1st. Good luck to them for sure. Well, where are you on this list? All right, my heading there says, where are you on this list? At a recent Friday night outing, several of us guys were talking about the earthquake in New York and Pennsylvania and up into New England last week, as a matter of fact. And I made the comment. And I said to these guys, I said, well, that's why I have earthquake insurance on every property I own. And I do. And one guy started laughing and said, well, what a dope you are. Says, we don't have earthquakes here. And it took about 1 second for both or 3 of the other guys to go, are you nuts? Yes, we have. And I reminded him of 2 that I know of that we've had here. And I actually saw a wall move in our house. A wall moved. I mean, it just not shook. It moved. And it's just a matter of time, I would think. You know, we can't say we've Haven't had that many. We're not like California or other places, but yes, we've had them. Who knows when we might have another one? I would imagine the people in New England states weren't all that prepared or had the knowledge that they were going to have an earthquake last week. Well, why would you take insurance, he said to me, if we hardly ever have one? I said, because this. If we have one here and your house ends up sitting crooked and my house ends up sitting crooked and I have insurance and you don't, in about a month you're going to be looking at a contractor at my house fixing it with my insurance company paying for it, and you're going to have a house that's crooked, and you're going to have a house with the mortgage that's crooked or off, it's the halfway blew away, and you've got to keep insurance on as part of your mortgage, and you can't live anywhere, and you don't have the earthquake insurance. That's the reason. I said, it is extremely inexpensive in Iowa. I said, that's one of the other things I have. It is so cheap. Why not? Well, ladies and gentlemen, I'm not an insurance man. You can't insure yourself against everything, but your regular policy covers fire, wind, and tornado, and accidents, things like that. The other man-made thing would be maybe a rocket hits it. They won't insure that. But earthquake is something that could happen here. So you at least consider calling your insurance people and say, what does it cost to have earthquake insurance? Well, we hardly ever sell any. Well, that's up to them. That's their report. Then ask them, well, what happens if there's an earthquake, and see what they say. There you go. So I think I won that argument, and I'm happy, sleep well at night knowing that if something happens to my properties with an earthquake, I might have to get in line with the contractor, but I'm going to get repaid for sure. Good luck. All right. Here's an all too familiar story, and it's true. And I was at the hockey game the other night, and a friend came over to me, and we were talking there, and another friend of mine was sitting there, and we were just all talking about things. And friend number one says, well, his wife, call her Jane, she said she had knee replacement surgery, I think about a month ago. If I got out of the story. I said, oh, all right, that's good. I said, gee, everybody in town's had that or hip replacement. He goes, yeah, but, and anytime they say, yeah, but, you know there's something else to the story. Says she has knee surgery, and she's trying to do PT with the knee and going to that. And somehow she tripped somewhere, I believe, in the home, and she broke that same leg above the knee. Above the knee. That'd be the femur. That'd be the biggest bone in your body. She broke her leg, and she has the knee issue going on. And so I immediately kind of went into slow motion because my wife fell and broke her ankle, her leg, actually, on August 11th. It'd be 8 months ago. In a couple of days, it'd be 8 months ago. She fell getting out of the shower. I broke her right leg above her ankle, about 3 inches. It's called tib fib, broke the tibia and the fibula. And she was started with no weight on it, and started then in a wheelchair, and then a walker, and then a cane, and now she's up and around and driving and doing well. She's a little deliberate in her walk. That's what through my head. So I said, oh, no, because, folks, and my wife, the first 6 weeks, no weight on that. It's her gas pedal leg, the only way I can remember, her right leg. Well, what does that mean if it says no weight? That means no weight on it. You can't walk on it. Well, let me ask you this, folks. How do you get to the bathroom? And when you get to the bathroom, what do you do? Okay, there you are. Now you've got to deal with the stool. What are you going to do? And I would make the comment, part of it's a little easier for men. Part of it's not, but women, you have to use the facility. You have to use that. So there are inventions. I went down the list of inventions and things that we used, and can I give him one? We still have some at the house, which we don't use anymore. And he was just shaking his head, saying, we have this and we have that. And he looked at me, he says, the biggest problem we have is, he said, we have a multi-level house. I said, if that's right, you do. He said, well, you would know, you sold it to us. I said, well, I forgot. 40 years ago. And they have a multi-level house. And he said, the first level is in off the garage. It's a nice area there. We're going to put a bed in there. But he said, there's no bathroom on that level. And again, slow motion, I'm remembering taking my wife to the restroom in a wheelchair about a million times. Now, that could be at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. I had to kind of stay close around town here. Middle of the night, 2 o'clock at night, and making a difference. It is what it is. Not complaining at all. Happy I could help. But at least we had the toilet you could flush. Now, he doesn't have this option yet. He'd have to get into the porta potty business and then deal with it somehow, other than just the standard using the flushed away. So he's in trouble. His wife at the present time is in a bounce back at a senior center doing a little PT and rehab. But again, he said, yeah, it's a no wait on it special here. So, folks, this is what happens. You don't have to be a senior to trip and fall. My wife happened to trip getting out of the shower. She's been in and out of a million times, so it can happen to anybody. You can be 25 years old and trip and break your leg. It happens. But when you're a senior, the recovery is extremely long, extremely slow. The doctor finally said to my wife, she was kind of giving him how come I can't get better? When do I get to start walking? And he said, we actually need two things. We've done the surgery, and now we need two things. And I'm going, all right, two things. What can we do? He said, we need Mother Nature and Father Time. And he said, we can't monkey with either one of them. So the key important one there is Father Time. It just takes time. And when we're all too impatient for that, sit around for 6 or 7 months. But that's what's going to happen with this gentleman, my friend, and his wife. So my wife is very careful now when she goes and looks out for curbs. As senior, our eyesight, sometimes we don't see the change in elevation so good. So when she walks and is stepping off the curb onto the street or a sidewalk, she's extremely careful. If I'm with her, I say, watch your step. I have to remind her. Maybe she's getting tired. I don't know, but I'm trying to make that not happening. And that was not a good experience. The doctor said a year from now, we'll still be talking about your legs. She walks a little deliberate. She's cognizant that she had it. In other words, like a toothache. She can tell it's there, but it doesn't ache. How's that sound? That's the best way I can explain. So good luck to my friend and his wife. It's just not good. It's not good. So how can that affect you? What can you do? I don't know what you can do. I can tell you this, that most accidents happen for seniors. Most accidents happen in the home. So I would advise you, here's a little tip for you. Here's a good little tip for you. Is something you can do. You could take a little tour around the inside of your house. Now, last week I asked you, and hopefully you take a tour around the outside of your house. And I actually had a good friend of mine call me and say that he and his wife did take a tour on a nice day around the outside of the house, and they saw some things they didn't like. A little siding issue, and I don't remember if he said a gutter issue, but other things. You might find a cracked window, lots of things. So I want you to take a tour around the outside of your house. And then as long as you're up and around as seniors, let's do a little tour inside your house, because tripping is the number one thing for how we get accidents, by the way, in the home. So you might think about where you might have a throw rug that you always have to stop and reposition with your foot, or you've got a drop cord back there, you've got an end table you always have to walk out around. Those are things, this sounds crazy, but it's true. Those are things you walk out around. For the last 22 years, you walked around that stupid table over. Well, move the dumb thing, folks. Just that easy. These are easy ways you can do that. And then the other thing is this. In the bathroom, if you're in the shower and you bite the dust in the shower, you're falling down in the shower, you're going to grab that shower curtain. Well, I'm going to tell you what good that does. It's only a reaction that you do that, because you're going to end up on the floor with the shower curtain on top of you, but that's the natural reaction. So you could call a contractor. You could go to one of a store with have a lot of senior and products like that, and you can buy things to mount on even if you have we have them now at our house, of course, after the fact, but we have them. So those are things you could do for yourself. All right, you could absolutely do that. So go ahead and get started with those little recommendations here. All right, that's for sure. I want you to know that I got a friend of mine who called and said, I'm back in the hospital. He's got an ongoing health issue that's not doing him any good. He's going downhill, but he's still hanging in there. He says, I just can't afford to be in the hospital. Now, he's a senior, and he does have Medicare, but still that only covers part of it, So he says, I just can't afford to be here. And he has a hard time buying the other insurance because nobody wants to insure him. So he says, I can't afford to be in the hospital. I said, well, I don't know what you're going to do. He said, well, I don't know either. I got to figure this out. So I don't know what you do if you're not in the hospital and you have something you have to get IVs and stuff for. I don't know. I can't answer that. It's just sometimes life isn't fair. Life isn't just. And as we get seniors, we have a better chance of that not being just. That's for sure. Well, I've got some things here that my mom told me just weren't true. would your mom tell you things that weren't true? Well, when you hear this list, you're going to go, my mom told us the same thing plus these. Number one, she used to tell my brother and I, if you swallow that gum, it will stay in your stomach for 7 years. And I'm telling you, when I was a kid, I never swallowed gum. I spit it out back into the wrapper. We were taught to take it out of the wrapper, put the wrapper in your pocket. When you're done with the gum, spit it into the wrapper and throw it away right. So that gum will stay in your stomach for 7 years. And, of course, as a kid, I believed my mom. Oh, number two, if you keep making that face, it will freeze like that. So you're going to grow up, you're going to look just like you do right now with that face. So that just led us, as a kid, that led us to making the face when she would say, you have to eat your peas or, something like that. When she'd turn around, that's when you'd make the face. You'd never make the face when she's watching because she would tell you it's going to freeze like that. And of course, that's your mom. And as you as grandparents, you probably told your kids that, and you probably tell your grandkids the same thing your mom told you. Number three, I have eyes in the back of my head. Now, we never could figure that out, but I know I looked because how would they know that I saw you take that? You put that down. I saw you not put the same jacket on I told you to wear. Why, huh? Why? I have eyes in the back of my head, so we kind of believe that Mom, basically what that says is she knew everything. She knew exactly what my brother and I were up to. What we're going to do sometimes. No, don't even think about it. Remember that. Don't even think about it. Don't even think about doing that over there. Don't even think about getting a piece of that cake or eating those cookies. Speaking of that, I was watching a cookie or baking show the other night, and they said that an angel food cake is a real temperamental thing or this or that. And when I was a kid, my mom always would kick me out of the house, get out during the summer. And I remember why, I don't know, I have a cake in the oven, and I never understood what the deal was with the cake in the oven. You didn't want kids around. Well, because we'd be, jumping off the couch and playing cowboys and Indians and shooting each other and falling on the floor and stuff like that. Well, she'd just kick us out and say, get out until my cake's done. Well, I don't know this because I don't remember that, but it must have been an angel food cake. She said she didn't want her cake to fall. Apparently, that's what angel food cakes do. They fall. I don't know that. So that's why we get kicked out. So many, many times, we get booted out because she had a cake in the oven. Well, all right. Here's another one that this was religion at our house, and I was sworn to this, or the neighbor would come and haul me to the dump, I suppose. You are not to swim until 1 hour after eating, or you will get cramps and drown. Now, folks, I believe that to the minute. To the minute, I believe that. Case in point, we would eat lunch, which we were forced to do in the summer. Get in here and eat a sandwich. You need a sandwich so you keep yourself going. Well, okay. So in the hot summer days, we would go in and get a sandwich, and we would write down the time. We'd just look at the time. We'd get done at 12:09. We'd be done, or 12:15. We would ride our bikes to the Iowa City pool because there was no Corville pool. Or we would we never told her this. We'd ride down to the river at the Corville Dam and go below the dam down there a ways, away from the overhead, a long ways. And we would swim in the river. But when we rode it to the Iowa City Park pool, above the basket area where you turned your basket in, there was a big clock. And we would stand there until that clock was at 12:15. So if we rode our bikes from Corville over there, and let's just say we got there and we got ready to go, and it was 6 after 1. We stood there from 1:06 to 1:15 until that second hand hit 12. Then we go jump in the water, or go jump off the diving board. To the second. We never wavered on that, ever, because we thought sure we were going to, because Mom said so, we were going to get cramps and drown, and who wants that to happen? Nobody. God, we didn't. Now, I've heard many, many times that that's a bunch of baloney. I don't know if it is or not. I'm not a doctor. I don't know what a doctor would say. I think a doctor would probably today go, oh, that's a bunch of hooey, but you might want to give your body a little time maybe to digest some things, I think it was all about. I don't know. We believed it. And when we were kids, we got a TV set. We got our first TV set in 1952 from Sutton Radio and TV. It took 2 of them to carry it in the house. It was so big. It was an Admiral. And my mom would say this, don't sit so close to the TV, you'll go blind. So we had to get close to the screen. Wasn't all that big. It was like all TV and no screen. Well, we wanted to get close. We could get closer to watch Howdy Doody, for God's sake. That's what was going on. So we get 4 or 5 guys. The neighbor kids, they didn't have TV yet. So when Howdy Doody came on, which is about the only show we could watch, or the Lone Ranger and Roy Rogers type of thing, we had a nice little crowd at our house for a while. Well, we all crowded around. My mom would say, don't sit so close, you're going to go blind. Well, again, we believed her. So we start sitting back farther, and again, it was a black and white TV, and it wasn't the bad. Well, it is what it was, you know. Probably had snow halfway in the picture, who knows, but that's the deal. And then one day she said something about the dog. We lost our dog, and she said, the dog went to live on a big farm. Well, in life, that's kind of what you have to tell kids when the dog got ran over, which is what happened. Unfortunately, my little beagle got run over, and the dog went to live on a big farm. Well, that made me feel good all my life till I realized that the dog didn't go to a big farm. He got run over, and he got buried out in about the back 40 somewhere. That's what happened to him. But those are things that my mom told me, and I believe her, and I did believe her. Now, some of them probably were things that all moms say, and she was no different than anybody else. And she was quick to make sure my brother and I towed the line, and these were some pretty good guidelines, all right? The dog one kind of gets me because I didn't want the dog to get, who did? The dog didn't want to get run over, if you think about it. So, you know, remember I looked on the calendar and I said, well, you know, today's the 9th. Gee whiz, next week is April 15th, which is income tax day. So if you're one of those people that put it off, I know I have a friend of mine who does it on April 15th. He said, that way I don't even think about it till April 15th. I said, well, what if your car doesn't start and you can't get to the post office? He looked at me like, are you crazy? I got a good car. Well, what if, you know? So he won't be doing his taxes till next week, but you got 5 or 6 days to get them done. Hope you're working on them because like the IRS, they will mess with you if you don't. Well, I got to thinking about some hotels around here after reading an article the other day. Reading an article, I said, well, gee, was that reminding? At one time, in the mid-1800s, now Iowa City became a city in 1839. In the old capital, they sent Chauncey Swan, John Ronalds, and I'll think of the other guy's name in a minute, out here to choose a place for the old capital, for what we call the old capital, and to start a city. That was in 1839, all right? So that's when Iowa City is officially known as. It started 1839. Well, at that time, Iowa City had a few places, not many, but there were stagecoaches that came here on up into the 1870s and 1880s. There were stagecoaches here. Did you know that steamboats used to come up the Iowa River? That's one of the reasons that the capital was built there, because people could get here by horse. They could get here by in the 1840s, they could get here by horse, and they could get here by steamboat. That's a true story. There were no dams on the Iowa River. They could get here to Iowa City. Sturgis Ferry down there, which is where Sturgis Corner is. A man named Sturgis, go figure, a man named Sturgis ran Sturgis Ferry down there, which is on Highway 1 West and Highway 6, 16 and 218 interchange on that northeast corner. That was Sturgis Ferry. That was the first ferry in Iowa City by a man named Sturgis to cross the Iowa River, and the steamboat actually made it up to where the capital is, and they got up there. And there was also a ferry up there to take people across. There you go. Well, I got thinking about the hotels, and it recognized as the first one, as the first hotel, basically twofold, but it was called Lean Back Hall, Lean, Lean Back Hall. Now, just conjure that up in the 1840s when it was built. Lean back, kind of a lean-to. I think the word lean-to. Well, that's about what it was. And it was on the northeast corner of, Lynn Street and East Washington, which today is the senior center. That's where that is, where the post office was when I was a kid. And, folks, I used to go to that post office. When we'd ride our bikes downtown, or we'd walk downtown, or we'd walk the Crandy tracks downtown so we could go to a movie. We'd get there earlier on a Saturday and go. And one of the places we went was the Iowa City post office, because you walked up the steps. We'd always walk up like the south set of steps or the north one, and then go out the opposite one. And we'd go in there. They had marble floors in there and a great big huge counter that went the whole length of the building. And one of my friends' dads worked there, and he wore a uniform and a tie, and Mr. Morano, by the way, Paul Morano, and he worked there. And it was just had the big steps going upstairs with the big open staircase. It was a place of beauty. Well, this hotel was there. It's called Lean Back Hall. Well, that wasn't a place of beauty. And it says that there was a sleeping space there that would hold 30 to 40, 50 men. It didn't say women, but I'm sure they stopped there too. I don't really know, but it held that many. It was most likely a lean-to, a shelter is really what it was. You know, the Iowa legislature actually held a few sessions there at Leanback Hall. There was kind of a little hotel attached to it, and it was more like just a shelter. But they did have a kitchen area, and they had a bar there, of course, that would feed a few people, the guys at a time. But sleeping places for 30 to 40 people. Wow! And it was recognized as the first hotel. And the guests rented space in the loft and used a ladder and things like that. It was quite a place. Well, the second one, and always maybe confused with the first one, right about the same time, was at the southwest corner of North Gilbert and then Brown Street. So North Gilbert and Brown Street, the southwest corner. Folks, it's still there today. But, Rex, you big dummy, there's no hotel there. I agree, there is no hotel there. Okay, and it was built in February of 1839. Guests rented space in the loft area again and used a ladder to get to their sleeping space. The first floor was a saloon. Go figure, ladies and gentlemen, a saloon. And it was a cabin. It was a cabin / tavern / hotel. And it was built as a log cabin. All right. It is still there today. It's true. It's a duplex. So when you go up there, which is what I want you to do, I want you to drive around and see that. I want you to go up there and take a look at that. And you'll probably drive around the block thinking, I didn't see it. That dumbhead Rex. And then there were two cabins, first one, then two. And then over the years, someone bought it and they made a duplex out of it. And the logs from the original place are still inside. They've been covered up, but they didn't tear the cabins down. The log cabins are still inside there. And when you look at this property, it's always been, I've been up there, but I didn't pay attention. It's been kind of a light brown, kind of a stucco-y looking light brown look. I think that's the one. I know that's the one. But that's the property, southwest corner of North Gilbert and Brown Street. All right? And I know a local family used to own it, and it was a rental for them just as a duplex. Now, that was also the stagecoach stopped up in that area up there for the hotels, and another hotel sprung up. At one time, Iowa City, I didn't say Corvo, Iowa City had 20 to 30 hotels. Because in the 1840s and 1850s, in the Iowa legislature met here, and people came from all over to deal with that. All right, wow. And in case you're wondering, the Hotel Jefferson, or the Jefferson Hotel, was built in right about 1912, and it was built as fireproof. Now, them's big words, they would say. You know, the old St. James Hotel was on the current site of Iowa Book and Supply. That was after the Capitol was built. They built it downtown. They built the St. James Hotel, which is where Iowa Book and Supply is right now. And about 1906, I believe it was, a little after that, had a huge fire that took out the St. James. Because remember, folks, back then when it caught fire, it was hasta la vista. You know, they didn't. It was a goner. Nothing good was going to happen if you had a fire back then before we had organized fire departments. And even today, with the good quality men and women on our fire departments and our equipment, you know, they have a heck of a time stopping all these fires. Congratulations for all the hard work that they do, too. They're on duty, ready to roll right now. They're ready to roll right now, all right? Well, back then they had to round up a crew, and they couldn't hardly signal, and they what did they do in 1906, 1910 when they had a fire? They just got the hell out of the way and got everybody out the best they could without getting hurt. So that's why the Hotel Jefferson then advertised as fireproof, trying to capitalize, I assume, on the disaster over to St. James. All right. Well, I got a couple things here for you. I want you in this weather, I want you to get started cleaning out your garage. Do yourself a favor and clean out the garage. I want you to open up the house today and let some of that warm and fresh air in. We've got that old January air, December air, Christmas air flushing around our house. Get rid of it. And I want you to see a lot of improvement in the stuff that you have. Now, you're cleaning up that garage. I just told you what you can do. You can take some of the things that you think people might buy and won't pay $1 million for it, and you're not going to get the money out. Take it down to the Corville American Legion. You can start there on Wednesday, May 1st. So you double dip here, Rex. You can take it down there. And then if you're living in Corville, coming up, we'll be talking about this next time. We've got Mayor's Cleanup Day coming in Corville. Wow. I mean, folks, we're all trying to get you to get rid of some of your stuff, some of your, I'm going to call it junk, but I can't because it's your stuff, so it's stuff, all right? My stuff is stuff, not your stuff is junk. So here's, ladies, if you'd like to get rid of your husband for like an hour, hour and a half, I've got a hot thing for you. I've been up there several times. If you want to see a huge construction project and a huge construction operation, go to the Iowa Interstate 80 and First Avenue in Corwell. Yes, it's congested during the morning and late in the afternoon, but if you go there between that, park in the hotel parking lot up there and just park there in their lot, you can figure out where to park and overlook. You'll see bulldozers and road graders and the guys pouring cement and dump trucks, all kinds of activities and cars and trucks. It's an absolute beehive. And it's a good place to go. Maybe take yourself a sandwich, go sit there and watch all that just for something to do, you retired guys. Why not? Get out there. And then while you're in that area, before you go home, I want you to go over right south, right in the Extreme Arena, and visit the 2 museums. I get the whole afternoon planned for you to get your husband out of the house. Go to the Car Museum, and I want you to go to the Johnson County Historical Society Museum, and I think $10 gets you in both museums. And trust me, you will go back. They are absolutely wonderful museums. So I've got your whole day planned out for you. A crappy day, they won't be doing much work out there on the interstate, but on a nice day like today, they were like 20 guys out there, 25, pouring cement this morning. So get out there. And then I want you to just enjoy the springtime at hand. Sometimes we don't get a spring. Sometimes we go from right to winter, right, cruise right through. We're having kind of a spring. It's rainy and warm day by day. So let's do that. Let's all take advantage of what we've got going for us, and also take advantage that we're seniors. Know your boundaries, know your limits, and live within yourself, and don't sell yourself short, all in the same breath. All right? So that's my report. So Senior Talk is a great place to be. I'm so glad that you take time to listen today. If you have any ideas or thoughts you want me to talk about, history or other things, give me a call at 319-330-5534. And by the way, folks, thanks for listening. We'll see you next time right here on Senior Talk. So long.
Looking for a place with a fun, casual atmosphere? Check out the Solon American Legion, a downtown staple for decades and a gathering place for veterans of all ages from